Hello, I'm Susan Clare, Gourmet Quilter, because quilting is delicious. I'm here today. We're going to have a little play day today. We're having fun. We're going to have a little play with some 5-inch squares and some 2.5-inch strips. We're going to make a simple quilt block, and I'm not actually going to sew today because you know how to do your 1/4-inch seams, but I'll show you what we're doing. We're making a block like this. So I've started with my 5-inch square in the centre, and I've added 2.5-inch strips in surrounds around it. So when we cut these ones here, these are going to be cut 5 inches long because this is a 5-inch square, and when we add them on here, we're now going to need to cut them 9 inches long. And so then the sides again, so we're doing sides and then top and bottom, side and top and bottom, so kind of a little bit of a routine going on. So when we cut these sides, they're the same as the top and bottom here, so they're also 9 inches long, but these ones up here have to come all the way across, so they're going to be cut at 13 inches long. So you can't quite get everything for that surround out of one full width strip, so you might need a second strip, but that's okay. You might change the colours. You can do them in any colours you like. I have chosen the blue and white. I've gone dark, light, dark, because I'm going to have a little play and show you what I do with that. So you can see up here I've got another block made the same way. Now these blocks could be just left as they are and used in a quilt like that, or you could sash between them. There's lots of things you could do. Or, as I've done here, you could cut that same block in half twice, so that into quarters. And so these then, if you simply cut them in half, this way, and I'm going to do it to show you, this will end up as a 6.5-inch measuring block, so finishes at 6 inches. How amazing is that? Fabrics are just wonderful. So this is measuring 13 inches square now, because our last sides were 13, so we know that. So what we need to do is cut that in half, and we'll do it with both of the blocks. I've got this one and the one on the wall, just so that we can have a little bit more play afterwards. We like playtime. So I'm just going to cut up here. So I'm using my board to help me measure. I'm coming along 6.5 inches. This is sitting lined up with lines on the board so that I know it's sitting nice and straight. And I've cut those two into 2 halves. Now there's another option. You could use them as half blocks. You don't have to cut them again if you have some great ideas of what to do with them at that stage. It's so much fun to just play. Sometimes we've got bits and pieces that want using up. Sometimes we want to start out with something fresh. The blue and white is lovely together. So, and I'm coming along again 6.5 inches because it's 13 inches wide, and cutting through again. So I've got one more block. I'm just going to cut that as well, this one that's up here, because I'm going to cut them all down so that we can have a nice play with the colours, or the blocks as they'll be. So this is going to be at 6.5 again. So you could have all different colours. You don't have to just use the 2 colours like I've used. You could alternate colours. You can do lots of different things. But by keeping the blocks all the same with the dark, light and then darker colour again, we're going to have a little play with them made in that sort of configuration. So I've got a few blocks here and these ones. So I thought we'd just start maybe pinning them up and just turning them around a little bit. So one idea was to simply sash them as you pull them apart like that. Another idea might be you could turn them around and start making little pathways of the light colour coming through there. And we'll put a different one up here. So I think you're getting the general idea of how to play. Play is so much fun. We could come back in here, we could turn that around, we could go out there. You could have a quilt that kind of zigzags all the way across, because we can put some more up here, and that could kind of just echo that. Or you can start having other things going on. You could put another one here. We can make squares with them, putting them back together again as a square but with different colours going on, so that you'd end up with this sort of thing. There's really so many ways when you've got 2 colours or two strengths of colour, light and dark basically. There's just so much you can do with them that is just so much fun. I was looking for a different one. Have I not got a different one? Yes, I have. This one here might come down here. So you can put your square block back together again. Of course, it's not going to be 13 inches. It'll be a 12.5-inch block by the time you do that. But you can also just have a whole lot of fun making almost like a sort of maze type thing. You could do it as a little car track for somebody who wants to drive cars everywhere. So it really just then becomes a little bit of a matter of what you want to play with. I might leave that one there, but we might turn that one around and come over here, so that you could make a whole series of different shapes or lines in a quilt, whether you do some diagonal things, whether you do some square things, getting bigger and bigger, whether you have little roadways that go to the edge. So I think you're getting the idea of what we might do. This can come down that way. And you want to mix your colours around a little bit as well. So really that was a simple idea, starting out with some 5-inch squares and 2.5-inch strips. Make your large square block that will measure 13 inches, and then you cut that in 4, and you've got just the 4 6.5-inch blocks. You could simply put them together. I'm coming down here now, just by keeping them all in the same direction as a block. You could make them so that you get other different things going on. Really, I could just go on forever just playing, but I think that's going to be your job next, is to just play. And why wouldn't you do that? Because it's so much fun to just play. So that was just, as I said, an idea using up some 5-inch squares and some 2.5-inch strips, which work together so nicely. And I hope you've enjoyed that idea. I hope to see lots of things that you make with it. And thank you.